My name is Erin Thompson. I'm representing the Deadline publication, and I'm happy to have as my interviewee today community member Shirley Thompson, relating to the Police Accountability Board and Police Accountability Board Alliance.
Well, I'm a member of the Alliance, the Police Accountability Board Alliance, and it's a group that is the most current of a long line of groups and organizations I've done work with, volunteered in different ways, community committees, all with the purpose of making this the best community it can be, particularly as it relates to brown and Black people and people living in poverty.
Appreciate that. Was there something in particular then that drew you to the, well, you know what, let's actually step back. Can you describe the difference between the Police Accountability Board and the Police Accountability Board Alliance, please?
Sure. The Police Accountability Board is a group of 9 community members that have been selected to represent the community's perspective, the community's interests when it comes to matters of holding police accountable for their behavior. 4 members of the board are selected by City Council. 4 members of the board come from the Police Accountability Board Alliance, and the mayor chooses 1 person. So the board is responsible for putting in place practices, recommendations, things of that nature, and processes for ensuring that people who feel they have been abused, assaulted, misused, what have you, by the police, make sure that community members who feel that way have their voices heard and that consequences result because of their coming forward and sharing what has occurred with them. And the board is responsible for investigating, subpoenaing people, recommending disciplinary action, and things of that nature. So they're kind of the watchdog of the community when it comes to police accountability. The Alliance is the group of supporters of the board. The Alliance is the group that was formerly named the Police Accountability Board Coalition, maybe, I don't quite remember. But we're the folks who hit the pavement, went door to door last fall when citizens were being asked to vote on whether or not they want a police accountability board in Rochester. And as you know, 75% of the people who came out to vote said they wanted a police accountability board. And so now that a board is in place, the Alliance is the body that is working to ensure that it is successful. And we do that in different ways.
Thank you. So it sounds as if there's fairly broad community-wide support for the Police Accountability Board at the 75% yes vote clip that you just mentioned when the community was canvassed.
Well, this is when they actually came out and voted. When we canvassed, I don't know what the percentage was then of people who supported it, but those who came out to vote, 75% of them said, yes, this is needed.
And what is the position of city administration, Mayor Warren, the police union? How is the PAB viewed by those elements?
Well, the Locust Club, the police union, they are not in favor of the board having any influence when it comes to how officers that have been found to do wrong. They're not in favor of the board having any say over how those officers are disciplined. And so they are currently in court challenging that. And the city is appealing the Judge Ark's decision that the Locust Club is correct, that citizens don't have the right to be involved with discipline of police. So the Locust Club challenged it. Judge John Ark, agreed with them, and the city is appealing that decision by Judge Ark. So they are backing the Police Accountability Board, the city is.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So today is the 22nd of August, 2020, and it's been a summer of uprising, of protest, of awareness about current instances of injustice, police brutality, murder by police, and also recognition and bringing to the forefront of the historic entrenched nature of repeat violations by the police. There's a heightened awareness, it seems, on the part of community members. It seems to me that the time has come really for an organization like the Police Accountability Board to really make changes. So how are community members to get involved if they want to see efforts of the PAB move forward effectively? Like what can your average resident here in Rochester do to help along or gain more information about the Police Accountability Board? Yeah, that'd be the question.
Well, before I answer that directly, I should point out that the Police Accountability Board Alliance is made up of individuals, but especially representatives from organizations across the community. It's a range and a mix of organizations that say, yes, we support, we want a Police Accountability Board. And organizations are able to have up to two voting members helping to decide the business of the alliance. So I just want to clarify that it's individual representatives and people that represent organizations from across the community. And in terms of what people can do to get involved with the alliance, they can go online or they can call me and say, I want to be involved. I believe that we have to hold our police accountable. I believe it's a matter of public safety, and I want to be involved in whatever way I can. So on the Alliance, we have different work groups. One of the work groups is responsible for outreach. We would like to get in front of any and every group of people, a family, any place where we can, to give a presentation, to talk with people about some of the issues involved with police brutality. For instance, one of the current issues is, should we defund the police? Should we abolish the police, the institution of the police? And there's a lot of confusion around what that means. So we would like an opportunity to get before the public, and we're taking steps to make that happen, to make sure that people are well informed about the terminology, what it means, what it could look like. We have people who, so that's the outreach committee. We have people, if you like to do communication, if you want to be a speaker on behalf of the board, of the alliance, if you have any experience, or someone you know or someone you love has any experience with police brutality, we need you to come out and tell your story so that we can put real faces on these concepts that we talk about. So those are two simple ways that people can get involved.
Okay, fantastic. And you mentioned that one option folks have is to contact you. The other would be to go online. Do you care to be a little more specific about where they would go online to?
Yes, they would Google PABalliance.org, and that'll take you to the Police Accountability Board Alliance website. And there is a membership application there. And there's a lot of historical information and current information about what the board and what the alliance are all about.
Are there certain qualifications that have to be met for a person to be an alliance member?
We want people to align with our values, which is that justice should not have a color. So we want to make sure that people are aligned with our values, that justice is for all. And then if you have the time and the willingness to participate in whatever way you can, we have 2 meetings a month, and there's a lot of committee work that happens between those meetings. And we're always looking for people to help support the committee's work. And I should mention a very important third way that people can be involved. If you live in the city and you think you would like to serve on the Police Accountability Board, we have a recruitment and interview process, and we will sit down and interview you and possibly put your name on the list of people that we would advance to City Council. The way it works is that we advance a slate of names to City Council of people that we have vetted, and then City Council chooses from that list of candidates to serve on the board itself. So that's a very important way for people to get involved.
Fantastic. And how frequently does that process take place? The board
It depends. It's a 9-member board, and so sometimes there's an unexpected vacancy that will be created. And if it's a vacancy from amongst the 4 members that serve on behalf of the alliance, then we will need to replace that person.
Okay. You also mentioned that folks could call you. What is your contact information?
My number is 585-703-3658. And I'm happy for folks to give me a call, shoot me a text, and we can get the ball rolling if you want to find out more about the Alliance and how to be involved.
Fantastic. We're going to wrap in just a moment. Are there any particular initiatives that the Police Accountability Board is focused on right now within the mandate that you described?
We just came off just a week ago today on August 15th. The Alliance just held its first retreat. As we said, now that we have the board established, we want to get clear on what our course forward should be to promote police accountability. And so we're figuring out what our priorities are. But we know that publicizing, getting the word out to the general community about what the board and what the Alliance are doing is something very important to us. There are different issues that we're grappling with. Do we want to push for a residency requirement for police officers? Do we want to, as I said, do we want to really push for defunding or abolishing the police? Just recently, the City Council voted to build a new police station on Main Street, and the Alliance came out against it because we think that money should be directed to the community, to services that the community can deliver to itself, as opposed to having a police officer show up for every single call, for every single need in the community. It doesn't make sense to have people with guns show up where guns aren't needed, or with a certain mentality show up. And so we're looking to have people understand why it's important for the community to build up alternative ways to respond to emergencies or needs. And I want to just say one thing about that. We are working to make sure the community understands that going to the voting booth and pulling that lever for the Police Accountability Board isn't where your responsibility ends. If we are going to come up with alternative ways to address crime in our community, then each of us really needs to think about what we can personally do. How do we handle our differences? If we can get a handle on handling our differences constructively, then we can support the effort to show our neighbors how to handle differences in another way. So it's really a matter of deciding how much we want to invest in ourselves, how much we want to change our behavior if we want to change our community.
I've spoken with you a couple times, Mom, since the inception of Deadline, and that's kind of a recurring theme that I'm that I'm hearing from you in terms of the personal work that you're doing, and also the message that you are putting out to the community is um, the personal element as far as how we engage in disagreement and conflict, and the continuing work that each of us that considers ourselves stakeholders in this has to do in order for there to be meaningful change.
Absolutely. There's so much truth in that statement. Be the change you want to see. So we've got our own personal homework to do, even as we try to re-envision what our community could look like without the heavy oppressive presence of police.
Yeah, fantastic. Any closing thoughts that you would leave folks with?
It's a good question. Closing thoughts. Just to please check out the website. If you have access to the internet, you're watching this, so you do. Check out the Police Accountability Board Alliance website and inquire, apply, give me a call, because there's a role for everybody to play. And if everybody just does the little piece they can, we can make a tremendous difference in this community. And I will say one more thing.
Sure.
Opening up a whole new topic, but there are individuals who would like to paint the police accountability effort as something that just white, middle income, college educated folks want. I've heard people say, I don't hear any Black folks talking about they want police accountability. They want police in their community. Latino people want police in their community.
Or the same.
And that's not so. And so that's why it's incumbent upon the Alliance to make sure that we are out in the community even more, talking to people and asking them to talk to council, talk to their representatives, and make sure their representatives, their elected representatives, are making decisions that serve the community and not the decisions that do the bidding of the police union or contractors or whomever.
Thank you for your time. My guest has been Shirley Thompson, Police Accountability Board member, community activist. Thank you.
Police Accountability Board Alliance member.
Police Accountability Board Alliance member, Shirley Thompson. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.